What's up, y'all? It's Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be reacting to SROS's video talking about one thing every team needs to do this offseason. Now, I'm interested to hear what he says. For example, obviously for like the Timberwolves, I mean, my prediction would be acquire shooting. But even for like the Nuggets, what do they need to do after falling, after defending their championship? All of those types of things is what I'm super interested to hear about. So shout out to my guy. Link will be down below in the description. And I'm going to be reacting and giving my thoughts on what the team specifically should do as well.
So currently 26 teams are figuring out what they want to
Okay, so are we doing only 26 teams? Okay, forget the Timberwolves, forget, you know, the top teams.
do this. Giving one thing that I think they should do this offseason, it could be drafting a player, it could be trading a player or for a player, or signing a player in free agency. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with your favorite team's suggestion. I appreciate it if you drop the thumbs up on this video. So we're gonna start off with the Dallas Mavericks.
Go like my man's video.
A team that's still alive in the playoffs. And I think that they should re-sign Kyrie Irving this offseason. He's a free agent in 2025. With Kyrie, you never know what he's going to do, but I feel like he's found a nice home here.
I'm not going to lie. I think for Kyrie and the Dallas Mavericks, it benefits both of them. He's good with Luka. They're hoping they got a chance to win the NBA championship. Resign.
In Dallas as a number 2 alongside Luka Doncic, still just 32 years old. They should re-sign him. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, they're probably going to let Monty Warvz walk in free agency. They could draft a point guard, but hey, why not use the mid-level exception on Tyus Jones?
If we could get Tyus, I would love it. I would love it. Because for me, like Monte was fine, but I mean, he's not as elite as we need. Mike Conley's getting a year older. I think Tyus would be perfect. Genuinely, I think he would be great.
A little bit of a reunion in Minnesota would be a perfect backup point guard.
I think, you know, he might get more than the mid-level exception, but we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, again, the Timberwolves, they got a lot of decisions to make. Obviously, assuming they lose to the Mavs. I mean, if they run it back, they're deep in that luxury tax. Really deep.
Conley, especially if they can't draft one later in the first round. For the Boston Celtics, let's add some big man depth in the offseason. They do have the 30th pick in the draft. They could look to draft a center there. Who knows? Maybe Zach Edey's available right there. If not, it could be like a Kyle Phillips.
Zach Edey is crazy. It could work, I guess, but I mean, again, it's kind of a long shot anyways, but I mean, the Celtics just have a way of developing guys, and if Edey actually does develop a three ball, hey, you never know.
Daron Holmes, they just need another big man because Kristaps Porzingis is injury prone, and
he is, absolutely, and Al's getting older.
And who knows if Luke Cornett or Xavier Tillman are going to be on this roster next year, and Al Horford isn't getting any younger. The Indiana Pacers are the last team alive here that we are going to talk about, and they're in a really good position. They have most of their core locked up next.
They're young, too. The Pacers are young. Pacers are good.
Year, probably going to let Obi Toppin walk in free agency, give more minutes to Jarvis Walker. So let's just re-sign Pascal Siakam. He was the big piece that they traded for back in January, gave up 3 first-round picks.
And that's the thing. If you're going to give up that much, you got to re-sign him. You have to.
And Bruce Brown to go out and get Pascal Siakam. So let's extend him. They may have to overpay, but he's meant so much to this team throughout this playoff.
And he's good. Siakam is really, really good.
The Houston Rockets, I would trade the 3rd overall pick. What's the point in drafting Donovan Clingan to just be the backup behind Alperen Şengün? If they're not going to play this guy a significant amount of minutes, try to leverage the 3rd overall pick for maybe a Donovan Mitchell if he becomes available on the open market, or maybe it's for a Brandon Ingram or somebody like that.
The thing with the Rockets is, what is their timeline, right? If they trade for Mitchell or Ingram, they're trying to make their time now, and I don't know if it is. Again, a lot of it depends on Jalen Green and his development, same with Şengün. I guess they got the pieces. They've got a lot of young talent. For a lot of teams, I think being patient is the way to go. I think it is. And I'm not going to sit here and say the NBA isn't wide open right now, because it is. So maybe, you know, trading for a guy like Mitchell would help. But they've got such a good young core, I don't know about. If you draft Clingan, okay, cool. Give him 20 minutes a game, see how he develops, and then go from there. Like, there's nothing wrong with having 2 really good bigs either.
Like that. For the Memphis Grizzlies, I would draft Donovan Clingan. Either stay at 9 or trade up if you have to. Maybe you have to leapfrog Portland. See if you can maybe give some things to Charlotte to go up and get Donovan Clingan there, who could be a good front court partner next to Triple J.
Is Steven Adams gone? Like, whatever, like, I know he's battled injuries, but is he, like, done? What is good with Steven Adams?
Open up the team in the half court. Let Triple J have some floor spacing and hit open threes.
Man, I'm not going to lie. You open that court with Ja, ooh, that's dangerous.
While Clingan is also being a good rim protector in the paint alongside with the former DPOY winner in Triple J, because the Grizzlies are trying to win a championship next year.
I like this from Memphis, if they could do this, because from what I've seen in Klingen, I didn't watch a ton of college basketball outside of the NCAA tournament. He's tough, man. He's really, 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 really good. Klingen's good.
You're fully healthy. The San Antonio Spurs have to add a point guard this offseason. They have to add somebody.
Trey Jones not getting the job done. I know Trey and Wemby want to play together. It's just, is this doable? I don't know.
Get Wemby the ball. Let's go out and trade for Trae Young, right? They have the picks to do so. They have Atlanta's future picks from the DeJounte Murray trade. So if Atlanta's going to blow it up and take a step back, they would want their picks back. So you can go out and get Trae Young, one of the best passers in the game.
That would be so fun to watch. Imagine watching Trey and Wemby lobs. Oh, I mean, I'm already...
to help facilitate for Wemby. Maybe they look at Topic or Dillingham in the draft. Those are possibilities, but Trae Young is someone that is an all-NBA
Trae Young is so much better than
that you could definitely trade for this offseason. If I'm the Pelicans, I'm trading Brandon Ingram.
You got to. The Pelicans can't run it back with that roster. They just simply can't.
Be a free agent next offseason. You cannot afford to lose him for nothing. He was the big piece that came over back in 2019 in the Anthony Davis trade. I still think he would have good value on the open market. Maybe you call up Cleveland. You can get a Jared Allen or Darius Garland. Both of those players would be phenomenal fits in Cleveland if they're able to get one of them. I'm sure there's a
in New Orleans. I mean, the thing for New Orleans is like they just got a lot of they need something for Zion, like somebody that's gonna help Zion. And Brandon Ingram, I don't know. Like, I think Garland would be good there, but where's CJ for
desperate
them?
Team out there that would give up valuable assets for Brandon Ingram. So you also can't afford to lose Brandon Ingram for nothing. So get rid of him here this offseason for pretty good value. I think the Charlotte Hornets just need to get some veteran leadership in the locker room. They're going to have cap space this offseason, and KCP already has 2 rings in his career. Maybe he's looking for one final payday. He does have a player option. I would overpay for KCP.
KCP is good, though. KCP is good. I would overpay if I had to, because KCP is the type of guy you can eventually trade. Honestly, like, everybody's going to want KCP. A perfect 3-and-D option. Perfect.
He was an all-defensive caliber guard this year, and if he gives you 2 good years and then regresses on the last 2, I think that's worth it just to get some veteran leadership in the Charlotte.
I think people are still going to want to trade for him, so you could use him as trade capital eventually, too. I don't hate this. But again, you got to eventually get rid of him because he is a good player. And Charlotte is horrible. The thing for Charlotte is this: like, if LaMelo can stay healthy, they in the East probably could actually make the play-in. Though they could.
Locker room, because it's been immature for the past couple of years. They have a new head coach in Charles Lee. Excited for that. A new front office.
Steve Clifford wasn't. He's not. Where's Steve Clifford going now?
Let's get some vets to join up with LaMelo and Brandon Miller. If I'm Washington, I'm trading Kyle Kuzma. You may draft Zachary Reese-Sachet with the 2nd overall pick or some type of wing. You also have Kispert and Denny and Bilal. Plenty of wings there.
Can they get rid of Kispert too? He stinks. He stinks.
Decent amount of minutes next year. You could probably get a nice pick in return for Kyle Kuzma, or maybe it's a center or a point guard. Definitely big needs for the Washington Wizards this offseason. So I would move Kuzma. His value is still fairly high.
I mean, it's just, what's the point of having Kuz? That's the big question for me in Washington right now. Like, they're not in win now mode. Kuz is a solid player, although his defense is horrible.
Miami Heat, let's get the most Miami Heat guy in this draft. Let's draft Devin Carter at 15.
I don't know what it is about Miami, but they just get these guys and they always pan out. Always. Maybe it's the Heat culture, I don't know, but they always pan out.
This guard can jump out of the gym, is one of the more athletic players in this class, is NBA ready, an elite rebounder for somebody his size. He can shoot, he can defend on the ball, off the ball, run in transition. It is the perfect Miami Heat guy. Even if you have to move up to 13 or 12 to leapfrog some of those teams to get him, I would do it. The Orlando Magic will have cap space this offseason. I really wouldn't go out and try to sign or trade.
Malik Monk already basically has said, like, he wants to get paid. Like, that's what he wants. So Orlando needs a bucket getter badly, man. They need one badly. They can't score the ball.
Paul George, I would just give Malik Monk some money, right? Like, there's a limit in what Sacramento can offer him. Orlando has cap space. They need a combo guard, someone that can shoot, but also play make in a pinch.
Malik Monk is tough.
Cole Anthony or Anthony Black doesn't work out at the 1. Monk could be your point guard or your shooting guard. He is a perfect Orlando Magic. Let's get it done. For Atlanta, yeah, we could talk about trading Trae Young or trading DeJounte Murray, but you know what they have to do? Trade Clint Capella. I do not care if they don't draft Alex Sarr number 1 and it's Zachary Reese-Sachet.
What is his value, though? like, is Clint's value even there?
Onyeka Okongwu deserve a chance.
Onyeka does deserve more minutes.
Be the starting center on this team.
True.
If they don't draft Sarr. But if they do draft Sarr, what's the point of having Sarr, Okongwu, and Capella? So I would move Clint Capella this offseason, something that should have been done probably 2 offseasons ago.
I just don't know what you're getting for him at this stage.
So I think the Lakers need to add a big in this offseason. They are most likely to get their first round pick, and they're going to owe the Pelicans their 2025 first. So there's some good big men that could be there at around the pick 17. That could be Misi out of Baylor. Good rim runner, could play alongside AD, or you could look at Khalil Ware out of Indiana. For Sacramento,
it's just intriguing to me how AD wants to play the 4. It's like, I get it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think you can necessarily go wrong, though. I really don't.
Probably going to get priced out of Malik Monk, unfortunately. So why not do a reunion? Someone that could look for a 1-year prove-it deal.
Buddy going back to Sacramento?
Spent a lot of time in Sacramento. He was traded back in 2017-18 for DeMarcus Cousins in that trade. So they need some shooting. Also, maybe draft Jared McKean in the lottery. Matt Ishbia really wants to trade the Suns' first-round pick this year, and when they're eligible to trade the 2031 first-round pick. Don't do that.
I like this. I like this a lot because Kolek is good, man.
Stop what are you doing right now? You're probably not going to be a championship team next year. You have so much invested into just 5 guys. Just draft Tyler Kolek at 22. Let him run this offense and set.
I like this. He's NBA ready. Say whatever you want. This guy is NBA ready. He can be an NBA point guard, especially with all that talent around him. I like this for the Suns. I do.
Set up Devin Booker and KD and Bradley Beal. He's NBA ready. Just do it. If I'm Golden State,
I like that. That's a good addition. Brandon, what?
I'm making a big trade this offseason. I'm trying to win a championship with Steph.
No. Just no. For what? Why? The Golden. What is he going to give up? That's what I want to know.
Curry. I'd like to still keep Draymond Green. I'd like to re-sign Klay Thompson. I think I would trade Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga.
You've lost me. Trade Jonathan Kuminga for a 1-year rental on Brandon Ingram. Are you crazy? Have you seen Kuminga play? Do you know the potential of Jonathan Kuminga?
Or Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, and some picks.
Okay, here's what you got to realize. Right now, the Golden State Warriors have 2 different timelines. They got the good timeline. They also have, the now timeline. They also have the timeline of Podziemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Moses Moody, as you mentioned, Jonathan Kuminga. No, trading those guys, no. For Brandon Ingram, a score, no.
For Brandon Ingram, I would just try to go out and get BI.
No.
He's a great talent that's on the market. No. If you can re-sign him, do it. For the LA Clippers, I think they should try to move Paul George. If a team like Miami offers you Tyler Hero, or you can get valuable picks from the Philadelphia 76ers, I would do it. I still think James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, and say, for example, Tyler Hero and the rest of their roster could make the playoffs next year.
But okay. I don't disagree with that, but what's the point then? What's the point? Are you trying to win now or are you trying to win later? You don't in the NBA want to be in this in-between stage. It doesn't get you anywhere. What are you trying to do? You gave up the farm for Paul George. Now you're trading him for 20% of what you got him for. I just don't know.
They just need to get younger. They just need players under the age of 30.
I agree, but if you're going to rebuild that.
Don't own many of their first-round picks late in the 2020s. This team has a ceiling with its veteran core. I would blow it up a little bit. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a massive offseason upon us. It's either you sign Donovan Mitchell, but if he gives any clear indication that he's like, all right, maybe I'll sign next offseason, no, trade him right away on the spot. So yeah, I would give Donovan Mitchell all the money and then maybe trade away a Jared Allen or a Darius Garland, maybe find a new head coach. But if he is not going to re-sign with you this offseason,
the Cavs, I'm not going to lie, the Cavs are a mess. The Cavs roster construction, I don't necessarily like it. They're kind of a mess right now.
Trade him to New Orleans or a team that is going to give you great
value
talent, in return for him, and just say that the Donovan Mitchell Cavs experiment was a failure. Please, Detroit, do not give Tobias Harris $30 million. This dude has made $250 million in his career. He is the NFL version. He's the NBA version of Kirk Cousins from the NFL. This dude has been making too much money. I'd rather just give DeMar DeRozan 2 years, $80 million than give Tobias Harris $100 million over 3 years. For Milwaukee, please.
Okay, so there's nothing. Okay, you don't have to overpay for Tobias, but you can still get him. Yeah, don't give him a max or anything, but
Get younger. They don't seem like they want to play Marjan.
I don't want DeMar DeRozan either. Like a ball dominant player from Cade. No, I don't want that either. You want to keep the ball in Cade and Ivy's hands if you're trying to grow your youth.
Champer Andre Jackson, but you need to. Brooke is getting older. Game is getting older. Middleton is getting older. I would really like if they drafted Tristan Da Silva with their first round pick because he can contribute next year, and he's going to be way better than Pat Connaughton.
They got to try to win now. They got to.
In
Why is the Connaughton hate here?
2025. I just can't watch Connaughton out there anymore.
She's
Chicago,
a hater.
Blow it up. Rebuild. What is the
My
point?
question is, who wants Zach LaVine? I've heard all these teams that want Zach LaVine. Like why? I would not want. I don't want Zach LaVine.
Being the 8th or
Bad
9th
defender.
every year. You're going to be too good to draft anybody, top end of the draft, like a Cooper Flagg or an Ace Bailey next year, but you're definitely not good enough to compete in the Eastern Conference, so trade Zach LaVine this offseason. Try to do a sign and trade with DeMar DeRozan. Move on from Vucevic and Alex Caruso. Rebuild, please. The New York Knicks' #1 priority has to be bringing back OG Anunoby and Isaiah Hartenstein this
Man, if the Knicks can stay healthy, they're so good. Julius Randle, I don't know where he fits in though. I don't know where Randle fits in.
Season, they were too important to their playoff run, and if you can only keep one of Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson, re-sign Ihart, and unfortunately, you'd have to trade Mitchell Robinson.
That's what you got to do.
Too injury prone for that.
Hartenstein's
the Brooklyn
good.
Nets, you just got offered all your first-round picks back if you give Houston Phoenix's first. Now, this gives you a chance to rebuild. Then you can move Mikal Bridges, and you could tank next year and end up with a Cooper Flagg or an Ace Bailey or a franchise-altering talent. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. And you get the 3rd pick in this year's draft as well. You can get the picks for Mikal Bridges. I know those Suns picks could definitely be very valuable, and I know the league looks at those very highly, but I'd rather just have my picks and go at my own speed, and it's kind of giving you an outright. If I'm feeling,
I don't know. I feel like the Nets gotta get rid of Mikal. Just start young. Like just start young, man. Like and I have no problem trading for future picks. What's the rush? Like, this draft isn't good either.
Philadelphia, I'm going to try to sign 3 to 4 different role players rather than just trying to add a Paul George to this team. I don't really think it's worth to get Paul George, pay him $35 to $40 million, extend max.
I get what he's saying. I do, because, like, again, I feel like Embiid and Maxey with great role players, great talent around them, that's enough.
And have veteran minimum guys around them. I just think I'd rather go out and get your Bruce Browns of the world. Could you get an Isaiah Hartenstein? Could you get a Malik Monk? Draft a good role player.
I don't want Hartenstein in this team when Embiid's going to be playing 40 minutes. But
for 2 with your first round pick. I just think the Sixers team would be better suited going into next year.
I get what he's
with
saying,
guys
though,
like Kelly
for sure.
Oubre and Nick Batum and Kyle Lowry and some other veterans this offseason.
Kyle Lowry, he's 95 years old. He's still thick, but he's 95 years old.
Fill out this team and
probably
have
getting thicker.
Pretty deep roster, including a good backup big for when Joel Embiid isn't on the floor, because those minutes have been horrendous. It's time to move on from B-Ball Paul. If I'm the Toronto Raptors, I am re-signing Emmanuel quickly. I believe he is the franchise point guard of this team, and I think he could break out next year.
Yeah, that's some
and
pretty
even
high
flirt with being
praise.
an all-star. I think he could be the best Raptor in 2025, better than Scotty Barnes, better than RJ Barrett. I have a lot of Emmanuel.
Okay, saying he's better than Scotty Barnes might be crazy. Like, that's just crazy to me. Scotty Barnes is the franchise player for the Toronto Raptors. Let's not get it mixed up.
Stock in Toronto. For Utah, I think you got to figure out what you're doing with Lowry Marketing this offseason. I would re-sign him, even if it's a little bit of an overpay. He is a franchise.
Man, Lowry's he's immaculate. What do you mean an overpay? What do you mean an overpay? He's fantastic.
Guy, at least for you right now. He
Sign him on a
number
max.
2 or number 3, and you have the draft capital to add a number 1 down the line. But I would extend Lowry Marketing. But if you're not going to, do not let him risk hitting free agency next year. Just trade him then. You could still get a great haul for Marketing. You did a great job in getting him in the Donovan Mitchell trade. Get even more assets on that, because
100%. Yeah,
or to lose him for nothing. Utah's a small market team. I would either extend him this offseason. If you get any indication he doesn't want that, trade him. For Denver, you most likely have to re-sign Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon this offseason. Obviously, there's your core 4 of Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, Murray, and Gordon. If you feel like this core hit a ceiling, which I don't think you should, you move Michael Porter Jr., but I'd rather just look to improve the bench. Hopefully, Christian Brown can replace KCP down the line.
I mean, Christian Brown is really good, and I feel like he could kind of fit that type of role, maybe a little higher energy, not as good of a shooter type thing, but the Nuggets bench has to get better.
Maybe there's a sign and trade with KCP as well, and you can get some assets in return for him. For Portland, I know this may be a little bit of a hot take. I would trade Anthony Simons. I think Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe is that backcourt's future. I think it opens up your team's flexibility a little bit more, and I think you'd be selling Anthony Simons at his highest value.
Maybe. That's a solid point, but Anthony is still really young. And I mean, what is Scoot? I know that you're trying, but like, Anthony is good. He's young. I don't know if I like this one. I don't know if I like this one. I like Shaedon Sharpe, though. I do. I get what you're saying, but I like Anthony Simons a lot. Depends what you can get for him, probably.
Numbers look really good because Portland hasn't been really good. I don't love Simons' defense. He's in a weird tweener position on the floor. So I think you can get a really good return for Simons, who is a good player.
He's really
he'd be better suited going
really
forward with the asset you get for him rather than him on your team.
I maybe test the market, but Anthony's good. Don't give him up for a bag of chips.
And lastly, for the OKC Thunder, let's get some rebounding, right? Let's go out and sign Nick Claxton in free agency. You have the money to do so. Give him a lot of money over 3 years. It won't overlap with the Chet or J-Dub extensions. You can move Josh Giddey this offseason as well, but I think getting like a big name center like a Nick Claxton.
That's interesting because a lot of what OKC does is they just spread the floor, you know, like they got shooters everywhere. So Claxton is interesting. I don't know if I love the fit. I don't hate it though. But again, OKC plays small. It's what got them to so far. I don't know if I love that. I don't know. It's not bad, but I just don't know if I love that.
Or maybe trading for Jared Allen would be huge for this.
I don't know, though. I don't know. I think that hurts Chet's value. I genuinely do.
So, yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy. That is one thing every team needs to do this offseason. Let me know for your favorite team. Do you agree with it or do you disagree? Let me know down below.
So, he said for the Timberwolves to sign Tyus Jones for the mid-level exception. If they can do that, I'll be very happy. Some of the other teams I don't necessarily agree with, but good video. Shout out to my man, guys. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe here. New and as always, man. I love you guys. Have a blessed day.